Okay, so we are back with our next episode. We are in the last week of the last block of the off season. So I'm not really going to break down too much what I'm doing today, but you already know day 4 is my close grip bench. So today, since the end, we did a set of 4, set of 3, and a set of 2 with ascending weight. Right now, I'm doing 264 for a set of 4. Then I do 281 for a set of 3, and then I hit a PR with 303 for a set of 2 close grip bench. And it was a pretty easy PR at that. You can see we're here in a different environment. I'm over at Vibe Fitness, owned by a longtime friend of mine, a very successful powerlifting coach in his own right. It's a beautiful location, beautiful venue. I love to come out here when I can, but he just doesn't have a squat bar or a deadlift bar, and that's what I use for my federation. So I kind of only come here on like upper body days. But nonetheless, what I wanted to talk about was the close of this off season. So essentially, this is the last session. I may next week come in just to do some bodybuilding work, but the goal is just to move around a little bit next week, get some actual body work done, to get things straightened out. Head on my week of vacation, and then when I come back, I'll be about 7 weeks out. I'm gonna ease back into it on that first week. Typically, like the last time I've gone on my trips to go hiking, when I come back, usually I feel pretty detrained. Obviously just feel a little bit weak. Even though I do move around, it's not the same as you doing some type of strength training. So that first week, I'll come back and I'll ease into it. What am I going to do to ease back into it? I have two options right now, and I guess it just depends on how I feel. Either just an extremely easy set of 5 for a top set with some easier back downs, or come in and just touch something around a 6 RVE for a single and do back downs. But I am preferring doing the set of 5 just to build a decent baseline, hit a good chunk of volume on that first week, and then slowly taper that down heading into the meat and potatoes of the meat prep, and then closing it out with a peak. There are going to be some changes that I'm making from this peak, from last peak. Overall, my last meat prep, I don't think it was too successful. A lot of mistakes that I made, and most of those can be corrected, if not all of them. But the other thing is, I did not like the style that I ran for my last meet prep. It was still a little bit too high volume, and even at about 3 weeks out, I should have cut the volume more, and I did not. So that was definitely a rookie mistake on my end. But just because the program I had been doing was working great in the off season, I just wanted to continue that into meat prep. But of course, you got to cut that volume down about 2 weeks out, one and a half to 2.5 weeks out. Cut that volume down so your body can recover while still maintaining that high readiness phase. So there is a science to it. Um, so I have that planned out, but nonetheless, the numbers that I hit this week are some of the obviously the heaviest I've hit all off season. Am I gonna go heavier than that in this meet prep? I mean, if my body allows me to, that would be great. But I'm also, I'm not a fan of overreaching before a meet. Like, I'm not trying to hit 100% single, 3 weeks out and then expect to redo that. I like to build momentum heading into the meet, so I like to hit some number a little bit lower end. I guess if you're doing percentages, anywhere between like 95, I mean anywhere from like 92 to 96%, where typically most people with that, you're hitting a single, and you may be able to like grind out a double. But I like to build momentum where hitting those for just moving them quick, making them feel like maybe a second attempt. That way when I get to the meet, I have confidence that I will be able to hit that and uh, PR on a third attempt. But nonetheless, the program that I'm gonna be running is basically gonna be the same thing I'm doing now. It's gonna be all the same day setup, primary squat, some type of a bench variation. The only thing that's probably gonna change is as I get closer or deeper into meet prep, and I'm talking probably around like week 4 or 4 weeks out. That primary squat day, I usually do like a stiff leg deadlift or an RDL. I do some type of deadlift variation. At about 4 weeks out, I'm going to change that completely. to just a hamstring based movement. So it'd probably be like a dumbbell RDL, nothing too heavy, but enough to just hit the hamstrings. I may go back to doing GHR that day. And honestly, at this point, I feel more than confident enough with basically only deadlifting once a week. It just works when I get deeper in meet prep. Like I've done enough weeks in the off season to practice that movement. I'm not worried about it. Squat is the one where I like to keep it twice a week just for technique purposes, but also just to build confidence. I like a pause squat with a standard squat. That way, I'm able to pause. I can build up that pause squat to a pretty decent number just to feel extra confident. So as we obviously start that next block, this meet prep block, I'll go a little bit more in detail on what I'm doing because there's still a few things that I need to finish fixing, but nonetheless, that's what it's going to be. So the same setup, obviously some change in the variations and movements, and also when we begin to cut back and taper some of that extra fluff, if you will. So, but right now things are looking good. Other than maintaining the strength that I just built this off season, and then obviously adding to it. The only other concern I have is just kind of like body weight. So body weight right now is about 173 to like 175 in the morning. I guess it depends on how bloated I am. And then probably getting to, yeah, probably about 176 in the middle of the day. So that's my number one priority, is to slowly start cutting down on the body weight, which should be easy. But the goal is about 2 weeks out to begin doing some cardio, just walking every day. And then, the week of, ramp up that cardio just a little bit, still walking, but maybe try and do some of it fasted, changing the diet as well, lowering the carbs, and, doing some type of a water load and water cut along with some sauna. So I should be straight. Last meet prep, same. I kind of had an issue with the weight cut only because I did not have a good sauna, but it is what it is. Anyways, that's the end of this episode, and I don't know. I guess the next video will be in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'll see you then, and I appreciate you watching.